Welcome to another episode of Aim to Serve. Today, my friends, near and dear to our community's hearts, two special individuals who go above and beyond every single time. As a matter of fact, it's somebody's birthday today as well. Cheryl and Emmett Dempsey, thank y'all so much for having us inside your beautiful home here in Florida. And today we're cooking something. What are we cooking today?
Scalloped potatoes and ham. And
what else are we doing?
what's our
Fudge.
There we go.
Scalloped potatoes and ham.
World-renowned fudge.
And world-renowned fudge. So we're going to get going. Here's how these go. These have been a huge hit for us at AIME. And just thank you for letting us into your house, personal space. I'm going to share the secrets just yet. I'll tell you guys some stuff later, okay? But where do we start? How do we begin?
So usually this comes after Easter dinner or Christmas, whenever we have ham and you've got leftover ham and you're like, what am I going to do with all of this extra ham?
Mm-hmm.
Scalloped potatoes and ham. And that's what we do. It's actually, don't let my mom watch this. The fudge and scalloped potatoes and ham are two things that my grandmother made very well. My mother never quite perfected it. So it was kind of my mission to get it right. Don't say it's pretty bad.
Yeah. No, it's an inside joke.
So those are kind of some of our favorites. It's also things that really require the two of us to work together. So I thought that would be fun.
We hope if you do watch this, I apologize on behalf of your daughter because, things just happen.
She knows. She actually requires me to make fudge. She says, I will not make it.
She's like,
Please make it for me. And I bring it to her.
So what are the first steps that we have to do here? And by the way, we can cook and talk, right?
Yeah.
At the start then?
Yeah. We can cook and talk. So the first thing that we could do is wash the potatoes, but I went ahead and did that already. So potatoes are washed. And so Emmett's going to peel, and I'm just going to chop up some ham.
Mm-hmm. While you're peeling potatoes, chopping up some ham, I have my first question for y'all, okay? So I'm going to start a little bit like Star Wars. We're going to start in the middle here and work our way through everything, okay?
All right.
So the way it works now, Emmett, you're a loan officer.
Yep.
Been so for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Third-party processing on your side as well for some time. Both your businesses do incredibly well. When did you realize that you can combine these businesses together and work hand in hand?
So it was actually when Emmett joined the broker world.
Which was when?
2020.
March of 2020, during COVID.
Yes.
Wow. You made a change. What happened?
Genius.
I had plans to late 2019. It was going to ease into it, but COVID kind of gave it a bounce shove into the broker world.
And so we're like, guess we're doing this.
So where were you prior to the broker space? What were you doing until you jumped into this side?
I was a branch manager with Jonathon Financial. Until great, I was there over 4 years.
Yeah.
No, I was in retail, and I got my start in with Countrywide back in 2007. Back in the day, before the Great Recession. Went to Bank of America, then I went to another broker, and then I went to like an IMB, like a call center type place. A lot of my close friends who had our wedding, they worked at the Integrity Days. Cheryl met them.
It's like a freaking boiler room.
It was a lot of fun. But they're all different places now. But you still keep in touch. And then I took a detour to financial advising in 2011, and even there they did mortgages. So what the heck? Why did I leave? So handing out back in 2013 and for the mortgages, and mortgages is kind of like a life sentence, but it's one that we want.
Yes.
And Cheryl realized that a few months ago, opened her for a company.
Yeah. So when he went, when I was pregnant with the twins, who are now 11,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to keep working, or I could, and I could just work for daycare, because that's really all the money I would make. So I started processing his loans. That's really where I started. And then he was getting busier and busier. He wanted to hire somebody, and I'm like, we don't let money leave the house. We don't like that. My student's house. So I'm like, well, if you're going to pay somebody, you're going to pay me. So I worked with him for a while. And then when he made the switch to broker, couldn't pay me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it could. But he's like, you could open up a third-party processing company and you could still process for me, and that would work. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. And all I really wanted to do was process for him. I thought.
So wait, you didn't have processing experience prior?
No, I processed like,
Yeah, but just starting in when? What year?
yeah,
Had to go to school with Emmett Dempsey.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, like,
The loan.
the twins. So 2014, really 2016 or so.
Okay, I didn't know this. So as opposed to you doing daycare, like you were saying, you said, you know what, let me go process loans. Did you have that background?
She's an
before?
accountant by
I'm
trade.
Okay.
Yeah, I was finance and accounting. So I was an accountant like in the public sector. So I worked for governance for years before that. So I mean, so like I can math a little bit.
Yes.
But had no, and I honestly had no interest in loans, I thought. But I mean, even before I started processing for him, remember when I structured our first deal or our first house purchase?
Mm-hmm.
We were, I was pregnant with the twins. We were getting ready to buy a bigger house,
Mm-hmm.
and something was there. Something happened. Oh, something was still reporting from like Bank of America. Something weird. We were buying a short sale.
Mm.
We didn't have time to like not get the house.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what? I'm like, babe. I'm like, couldn't we go FHA to FHA because the family size is increasing? We'll just drop you from the loan. Like, I can qualify with just FHA. And then once we're in, like, we'll go back to VA, like, and we'll refinance out. And he's like, that might work. I mean, so I kind of.
That's so brilliant. So just so you understand, she's picking up on additional guidelines as well through this process. So it's a lot deeper than just processing. When you embed yourself inside of the mortgage culture, these are the type of things that you want to learn and understand. And so being on top of as many loans as you can, as many opportunity, opens these doors for you to learn all these different things. So for the processing side, obviously it's expanded well outside of just Emmett's business, thank God. What was that like? And then I got a question for you right after. What it's like for you, where it's like she's got to deal with also other people's business, not just yours either. But when did that start, and how did you know, like, wait, I think I have something here in front of us that's an additional business on top of what my husband's doing?
I got two pieces of that. I started expanding state by state just because with processing, I'll make loan officer money, to be clear. So it's more unit based, obviously, than, loan volume. And so the only real way for me to do that, while Florida's huge, was to start expanding states. The other piece of it was Emmett had an LOA that he had hired because it was busy. And then it started to get not busy.
Okay.
And then, but we knew we needed her forever.
Yes, because
always.
I think she's the fourth or fifth one I've hired, and she was like, "Wow, we love her." So like,
she's family. She'll be here this weekend. So we're like, how do we keep her? She's my ops manager now.
Mm-hmm.
So she came over, and so we started expanding, kept moving and moving and moving. And then I was like, okay, I need another processor, and another one, and another one, and we're just going to add in our states. And then I had all of those call, like, would you get licensed there?
Yeah.
Is that your personality, though? Because I do have a question about that.
Sure.
You're building the business slowly. A lot of people out there are like, when do I build the business? How do I scale it? I feel like you don't go into a situation where you say, okay, we're about to scale and explode. Mm-hmm. It just happens organically. So how do you know? How do y'all make the decision of, okay, now it's time to do this?
Well,
and then is that also your personalities? You guys travel a lot. You network a lot. You're in front of people a lot.
It was funny because when Cheryl first started, she doesn't prospect at all.
I don't.
And she had this company, and then it's like, we were at an event. We were at Tag down in Fort Lauderdale, I think. And it was Michelle Vaughn.
Yep, it was Michelle Vaughn.
And I was like, hey, this is Cheryl. She has this processing.
He was literally like giving out my business card. I was just there for the event.
And that's like you're prospecting.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he's like, who do you use for processing? What states are you in? Where are you licensed in?
Yeah.
And that was one of my first add-ons. It's fun like that. And you're going to ask him how he feels about it?
Yes. So now I'm back to you. My question is this. How is it where now the business is growing? She's helping your business, now helping the rest of the broker community. Mm-hmm. Is there any pain points with that you've experienced the way that you're willing to share?
It's a loaded question.
Well, the old adage that the contractor's, spouse doesn't get contracting work. This is kind of
No, like the cobbler's kid doesn't get shoes.
just, whatever analogy you want to say. But basically, she doesn't really process for me that much.
Yeah.
No. Personally.
Yeah, no, I know her. No, you're
I was like, come on.
I don't. She has processes.
Files.
Her company process files, but I know her role is primarily to bring on new brokers.
Yes.
And to get them involved and onboarded, and then either stay with her or go to 100 processors that are expanding. And my role
Start taking
on it, just on the operations side, is I know how to set up. I know how I've self-processed before. I don't self-process, but I lean on her processors. And there's some files that are uniquely difficult, like reverses or something like that, where she'll get involved. But for the most part, I mean, her staff was really good. And then we don't need to involve her. So she's like, well, what's this loan? I don't know. That's what me and Dean are working on.
Well, and tell me upside though about like what we've learned to just as part of the community, and then just having access to a network of
100%. Like a lot of her brokers will call me. It's just those reps, because a lot of brokers don't get the reps in different states. They don't get the reps for different loans, different lenders, about who's doing what, and she has multiple A's that she's working with. So that breadth of experience is definitely an upside of this model.
So, I mean, for you now, you said 07 is when it all started right into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You're started in 07, a year later, everything turns into mush.
Yes.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yes.
So what was that experience like for you and the family? Like, what was the game plan? What was the conversations?
We didn't get married till 2000.
Oh, so okay. So 5 years later, roughly. So what was that entire experience up till 2007 to 2012? Walk us through that.
All right. 2007, it was May of 07, and I remember that because that's when Transformers came out. But I'm a kid. I'm a kid of the 80s, so Transformers with Peter Weller's voice, that was amazing. And Megan Fox too, to be honest. But hey,
Make your own lunch.
that was BC, okay, before Cheryl.
BC. Before Cheryl's BC. Before Cheryl is BC. Okay.
Is this gonna?
No, go.
So I learned a lot of those skills with Countrywide, and the products at the time. It was 228s and pay option arms, and like sure, it's on a piece of paper and guidelines. I didn't know exactly what that was at the time. It was just I needed a job and I could do this, and it was in town, and they trained you and give you leads, and here you go, just put them in a loan. And then I remember in August, it's like, oh, we don't do those loans anymore. What are we supposed to do? So like everything shut down. Like you were there at ground zero, but you don't really know the historical context of it at the time. It's just we are doing certain loans, and and then all of a sudden, no, we don't do those anymore.
There's one away.
Yeah, we just don't do anything, and then we kind of. The branches were consolidating, nobody knew what was going on. And then eventually Bank of America bought us out. And then we were there for maybe a month or two, and then they let everybody off, gave it a little bit of a severance, and then went looking for another job. So then went to a broker. I didn't know it was a broker at the time. So you learn how to, broker. In fact, I mentioned on LinkedIn, Sierra Pacific was one of the very first lenders I used, and they just got bought out like last week.
Dean Home.
Yeah. So that's I've been around that long. So learning Sierra Pacific, Franklin American was one. Freedom was around back then. So those are some of our first lenders. And I think the precursor to REMN, like 2 or 3 times, I forget the name of them, but they're in that company. And just learn how to close loans then. And then a bunch of us went to another call center place, Integrity, and worked there for a couple of years. And then we got married, moved up here, and like I said, the transition to financial advising, did that, and then
2014,
from 2011 to 2013 was in financial advising, did that, and then left 2013. We got back into a local broker. So I think he's using IMD or correspondent lender. Yeah.
So when did you guys meet?
So we met in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whereabouts?
Plenty of Fish.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's amazing.
So he was actually living in Jupiter, which is about 40 minutes away.
Okay.
But was raised here, locally, so had family in town. What did it take you, 6 months to get me to get a real date with you?
Yes.
Roughly.
I'm pleasantly persistent.
He is pleasantly persistent. Eat everything.
So regardless.
Loans. Yeah. So we met. Our first date was January 28th, 2011, and we were married January 28th, 2012.
No way. I didn't know that, guys. Yeah, that's amazing. And then the twins, right? Were
so I have Alex.
Yep.
Emmett adopted him as soon as we were married.
Okay.
The attorney said that was better, I guess, when it's a step parent adoption versus like you're just, some random guy.
It's okay,
some random guy.
Makes sense.
So he's 23, is our oldest. And then, and so right away, we started working on babies. Then we had the twins in 2014, and then Amelia in 2016.
So you obviously knew his background coming in, right? Mortgages, things crash, guy gets into financial advising. Then there's the shift coming back into the broker space, which sounds like it was slightly after you guys got married, right? From January 2012. What was that conversation like with the two of you now? Because then you opened up the processing in 2020, correct? And moved into 22.
It was licensed in 2021 because for a while I was still kind of processing with him because it was small enough. But 2021 got the NMLS license, and I think full launch like in March of 2022.
March of 2022. All right, we're going to pause here just so we can make sure everything gets chopped up. You said station identification? Mm-hmm. That's what Rami calls it. Station identification.
That's what they say on the radio.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't listen to much radio. Unfortunately, I just showed my age, and I apologize to the rest of the audience. We are back from our little session here. We got potatoes going. Thank you for chopping those up. We got the ham ready to go. I learned a couple of things off camera. So now, Cheryl, we're taking this. We're moving that way, right?
Yep.
With this. So what are we doing? What are we doing next?
So the next piece. So these can actually stay. Well, I'll decide where I put them together. But these are going to kind of just sit for a while. Potatoes can sit. Always put your potatoes in water, or else they'll get brown. Because if they stay out too long, then those gross. Mm-hmm. So leave them in water while they're sliced. I'm going to go back here and make the sauce, like the cream sauce.
Perfect.
And then we'll stack it all together in a pan, right in the oven.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you here in just a second.
Okay.
Emmett.
Yes.
So learned a couple of things about you off camera. I won't get into too much detail, but by the way, if you ever see him in person, ask him about this. It's pretty juicy. Mm-hmm. However, the financial advising piece we talked about, how have you tied those threads together on the mortgage space, and has it helped you with the mortgage side when you're talking to clients and being that advisor for clients?
100%. To having an actual formal process to figure out what their mortgage needs are, figure out different options, rather than just say, here's your rate. And during COVID, it was like that a lot of times, which is why I wasn't always a fan of refinances. We always think, we want the refis to come back. I'm like, I don't really know. Because you can present this option, saving a couple hundred, $1,000 a month. Yeah, think about it. That's why I love working with purchase focused, and refinances are just the icing on it. So you learn how a consultative process to really dig into what their needs are. And that's kind of the model of financial advisors do. So
you took a different approach. So I come from direct to consumer initially, and coming into the broker space, working with agents was newer for me. Mm-hmm. And so that consultative approach was different. Where I come from, it's just, hey, take as much as you can opportunity wise, right? Leads come in, and you just go. And so I had to shift my mindset when I came to this space, this side of the fence. Mm-hmm. When you talk about just setting up your clients using the financial advising and walking them through what this house means for them, a lot of loan officers don't do that. They don't explain the interest paid. They don't explain how to pay the home off faster. So when you say you take a consultative approach, could you walk us through the different things you ask clients that most loan officers probably don't ask because of your background?
Well, yeah. I mean, in fact, I started pretty much as you did with direct consumer.
Yes.
I had to learn the same thing. So you have a consultative approach with agents as well as with consumers. Well, I'll talk about the consumer piece. But first leads are different. So a lot of times they're ready to go. So you have to ask them what they're looking to accomplish. Depends on where they're at in the process. But basically, it's not just about a rate and payment. It's that, a lot of people believe the 20% down myth. And I say, well, I didn't put 20% down, right? I know, let's look at different options. Here's 5, here's 10, 15, 20. I use Mortgage Coach.
Yes.
Use Mortgage Coach, MS Highway, use different tools. I use video education. My YouTube channel has been very well. People find me there all the time. But also, I call it tactical video. Basically, you'll get a Mortgage Coach, or you might get a loan screen share if it's a little bit more complicated, like a reverse or something. But that Mortgage Coach piece is so easy to basically say, here's the different options, and clients really enjoy it. You see all my reviews. That's one of the things they mentioned. Videos I understood. So educating your clients is definitely huge. And it's not just, you're not just taking orders and quoting rates. I mean, that's a small piece of it. but how you present that, you make those numbers come to life.
We're going to talk about your YouTube because you do such a great job on there and people don't understand the benefit of it. But I want to make one point clear to the audience here. So here, I know this is hard for a lot of the LOs listening, and please don't take this the wrong way. I get it. We get busy. We get a client that comes in the door. Sometimes you get excited, especially if you're not writing a lot of loans, where it's like, okay, I want the deal so bad. Clients can feel that. And so what he does on every single loan, it's the same process, and clients don't get to dictate his process. He dictates the process because he's the profession. And the way he speaks, when the clients come in, they know right away that he's the profession. Because when he starts talking about interest, he starts talking about your plans, your goals, he takes control of the conversation. And so often I see a lot of new loan officers where you let the client control the conversation. You let them take control of the process. If they ask for a rate, you just give them a rate, and you're not dialing in deep on the questions and making sure you're setting the client up for success. Has that been something you've always done where you love asking those questions?
Yes.
And you take the time to do it?
Well, it's interesting that when I picked up on what you said about come in. I have an office. Nobody ever comes to my office.
No.
So you have to be able to project that influence on the phone or on a Zoom or who's, understand that I'm become commoditized because they believe they can go anywhere else and you're just another broker. You need to, and then video does that.
Correct.
So if they find you on YouTube or anywhere else, that quality of lead, because they saw you on camera and you're famous and still blows my mind to say that what YouTube's come through, but be able to project your voice and your mannerisms on Mortgage Coach. It's a simple video, walking them through the options. That connection is huge to create, that can be all over the country.
So I'm a big believer where during COVID, we had a mass influx of additional education for all industries. And that's because people couldn't really do what they were doing before. So mortgages particularly, you started seeing a lot more videos on first-time home buyer, how to hack the system. For the love of God, stop trying to hack systems. Please, guys, you're making it bad for us as loan officers. But is that where the video started for you? Like, what made you in your head go, you know what? I had never done this before. I'm now going to go down this path. I don't care about anything else. I'm going to figure this out. When did that start?
This was 2018, because I remember Agent 2021 with Gary Vee.
Yes.
That Gary Vee event.
Yes.
That's when I started a little bit beforehand, and I was watching Gary Vee, and it was a video he did when he was coming back from London. He had this little hoodie on, and it's like, just start. I was like, just start. And I thought, okay, and I believed it. So I just started doing videos, and they were pretty awful, like most of your videos are. And people would find me. It was crazy that I still was on my, somebody wants to watch me talk on camera. But yeah, they really do.
What's your best YouTube video? So like the one that's popped off the most?
So far, it has been reverse
mortgages, right?
And I never thought it would be, because and it's always been a niche I've done in 2014. I don't want to be a reverse OO, but in Florida, our population, definitely something you should know about. And it's a very visceral loan because you have a lot of detractors, you have from Dave Ramsey and all the financial gurus, and for reasons that are just not true. And there's been a lot of protections that have changed, and I've seen them change. But yeah, the reverse is by far more than them.
So the reverse mortgage clients, so just so y'all understand this, okay? Here, listen to this. How long is the video, roughly?
It's over 12 minutes.
And then on average, how much are they watching of the video?
I'd say at least 60% of it.
Okay, so YouTube gives you these analytics. It's a 12-minute video. Roughly 60% of these clients are watching the video. He has a niche. He understands the niche. He does the video. Clients then get a hold of you. And then that first call that you got from your video, can you walk us? Do you remember the first call by chance? Or the first opportunity?
I can tell you the first one. I can tell you one I got yesterday. So, yes. So the first one is they'll either text you, call you, email, and say, hey, I saw you on your YouTube video. I'm talking about this. It's like, can you talk? I was like, yeah. And it just felt, I can say easier. This is not as skeptical because they've already seen you as an expert online. So they believe that enough in your expertise to call you to take that action. So taking that action is huge. That's the first step for them to they reached out to me. I didn't have to pick up the phone and call them and convince them to talk to them.
And what did that do for your confidence, if you don't mind? Like that first one, it comes in, there's your confidence, I assume.
Oh yeah, it's completely off the charts. Yeah. So, but it was the first closing I remember from YouTube, and they say, "Oh, you sound just like your YouTube videos." I'm like, okay. doing a YouTube video. Oh, what? Yeah, it's just me. I'm just a guy who does loans that just puts it on camera too. So that's what it was. And my now the one I got yesterday, email. It's called a homestay second. It's kind of a relatively new reverse second. You know, first, and I did that video a couple months ago. And he emailed me all his information, fully qualified. And these are people you would have never met. And I've got I closed one last month in Georgia. You know, and there's a lot of times not just the borrowers, also their sons and daughters that reach out who watch some videos too. So you have two generations.
That's such a big deal, and it's just so fascinating to me that it all starts with just that first video that comes out, right? And that doesn't happen unless you just make a decision to do it. So you've been in the industry now since 2007.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen a lot of different things happen in the industry. How important is it for LOs out there to make sure they're changing consistently with the times and keeping up to date? How has that been so beneficial for you?
It's very key, especially learning AI tactics and how it helps streamline the process in content creation and just everything you do every day.
So we're talking about Shane.
Yes.
AI. Walk us through that. Like, what's that been like learning? You said Luke, you said Shane, you said in these courses.
I'm in this group. As far as my learning, I'm a voracious learner. And, you know, and remember the movie Short Circuit when, you know, Johnny Five comes alive and he starts, you know, reading input? That's what I am. Input. Like I'm always learning. I'm in the car. I always have a podcast on. You know, no a lot of time. You know, I can listen to the radio now and then, but most of the time, all the good podcasts, Dustin Owens podcasts, all the AIME podcasts, like the one that you do is really good. But Shane and most people are using AI like they're doing Google. And once Shane, I joined his course. I'm like, wow, the way that he strategically does AI for content creation and how you can program it. And it's so much more than you think it is. It's not just a Google substitute. Like you go on here and do some generic stuff. Like, no, if you want really good output, with the really good input and program it the right way, and she can change plus one thing into all those different things. So, and then Luke Shankula has a community of other professionals that, you know, does cutting edge stuff, and it's crazy what's out there. And do the AI avatars, you can make an avatar for yourself. I did that for YouTube thumbnails, which is kind of crazy. You just put it what you want and just put your face. And then you can even make an avatar for yourself, do as much content as you want. And that's kind of, you know, the next frontier. But learning AI in business, but for me, on operations, you know, if you have any lead buys, then like they get texted right away, they get followed up. I use Go have a CRM, and then I have a voice AI, conversation AI, all those different things that we as small brokers can compete on a national level with those systems. And you've had a large team of people, so you have a large team of systems. So that's kind of what I have to do to be lean and mean, to offer the best pricing as a broker that can still compete.
Has this affinity for learning been there since you were like a kid, or is this?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very Virgo, and our son Logan is my clone, and so he's the same way.
All right. So we've got the sauce ready over here.
Yep.
Now we're prepping on this side of it. So how do we do this?
Right. So we are just going to layer potatoes, ham sauce until we're done.
Perfect.
Easy peasy.
How is your multitasking skills and asking questions?
You can absolutely, I'm a professor. How are my multitasking skills?
Sorry.
Pretty good.
All right. So I learned a bit about Emmett
Yep.
prior to. So your journey prior to getting into the mortgage space, so there was some accounting background.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk us through a little bit of that and how that's shifted and translated over?
Yeah. So I always joke that I came home from college with a baby instead of a degree. He knows the joke, so it's okay. He's not going to be offended. And then I did. But then I finished my degrees because I knew I needed to. So I went and got a degree in finance. And then I went and got my MBA and ended up in local government because my parents always taught me that you needed a pension and health insurance. So I needed a pension and health insurance. I had a kid, and that's what I did. And then I started kind of making my way up to C-level positions and worked for 10 years before I did that. Before then. And then what was the primary question? How is that?
How has it shifted over? But before I jump into that, so you said something earlier. You said, like, when people come in, I need to put 20% down. We learned that from our parents, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things my parents said to me that I grew up later, and it's like, okay, things have changed.
Right.
So why was that your parents' focus? Were the pension, like, what was that like growing up, and where did that concept come from?
Yeah, so they grew up in the Depression, My mom is one of, 7 total, but then my grandmother had 28 foster kids throughout the course of their life.
28 foster
Not
kids?
at the same time.
Yeah, but just fostering throughout the 28. Yeah.
And then my dad, his mom, his dad left them when he was little. He's one of 5, and he was the oldest, and always had to take care of his brothers and sisters and kind of his mom. And so they crave stability, which is also why it's really hard. When I tell you that I didn't want to open a business and both become entrepreneurs and both be invested in the same industry, you know how risky that is?
You gave me, look at my goosebumps right now, Rami. I'm serious. Look at these goosebumps. So, like, I'm just going to say it. There's people in this world, like my family, there's a lot of trauma in my family. There's trauma in everybody's family. And then there's people that, like, it's like, who cares? We're going to go figure this out. Hey, let's make things better. And that's like what I love about what you said. Like, the amount of trauma is so surreal. You say it with like, yeah, that's just life and it happens. And now we're here and now you're taking these risks. So when you went to go take risks, what happened to your parents? Did they just jump through the roof and go, what are you doing? Or they're like, okay, I guess here we go.
So by the time I did it, we're here in this house and they're living
life.
and they're like,
Yeah.
I think you're doing all right.
Okay.
I think you guys got a good team, and I think you're going to figure it out, whatever that looks like.
Thank God. So, if I may share, if you want to cut this out, you can. So, they're in a position that, I want to be in one day. They have, her parents, there's another house back over there. And they've been able to do that just because of their consistency, their ability to work together, their ability to build a business, their ability to take a risk together. This is what this looks like, y'all. This is what opportunity looks like. I assume there's been a lot of trauma along the way as you guys have built this, but you jumping in where it's like, okay, the stability piece is a lot different now. What was it like for you initially, mindset-wise? Did you have any kind of doubt, or was it more like, here we go, guns a-blazing, let's hit the ground running? Ooh.
I had all the doubt in the world. I still do sometimes.
Yeah.
Still do. But
Do you think that little bit of doubt is also what makes you so unique at what you do, where it's like you just, that will to not let it go, like I can't lose it, I got to keep pushing? Because I feel that same anxiety every day.
Absolutely. Because I know I'm capable. It's still scary. And every single day it's, fuck, I could just go get it. Sorry, can we?
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Like, I'll just go back to accounting. Like, I could do that and have a day off and, call in sick. And then I'm like, no, not going to do that. Because I fell in love with mortgages and I told him that I hated mortgages. I was like, I'll never want that. And then when we started doing it.
How did it tie together with the two of you? They have the big ass calendar back there, Jesse Etzler. And Ram, you could probably zoom in on it. Make sure there's nothing personal on there.
No, there's not. It's friend. I mean, the kids see it.
But the organizational piece of it, you two working together, I'm sure there was pain points along the way. I'm sure there still is. Pain points pop up, things happen, obviously, working in the same line of business, traveling, the kids, everything else you guys have going on. Where was the conversation? How are the conversations like even today of how do we keep this organized? How do we make sure we stay dialed into our end goal as a family? What's those conversations like? And either of you can answer.
Well, I'll start with one piece by saying, like, the biggest argument that Emmett and I have is who gets to work more. I mean, it really is. It really is.
Wow.
Because you've got 2 high executes. He knows that he's got to put in the work to be successful. I know that I've got to put in the work to be successful. And then we got 4 kids and 2 dogs and some extra people in fact.
Yeah.
And so that was huge for us for a few years, I think. Yeah. And then we finally came to we had to have like those agreements, those discussions that we're the team. Yeah. We're not working against each other.
It's not always 50-50.
Yep.
It ebbs and flows. So Cheryl's in a season of building, so a lot of the kid pickup, because kids go to different stages. They're easy now when they're babies. Okay, cool. You put them down for a nap. Now we have 11-year-old twins and 8-year-old. 8-year-olds in competitive dance. The 11-year-olds to play football, and I'm their coach. So different pushes and pulls. So there's kid drop off, kid pickup. Then you have amazing dance 4 nights a week, and then being on competition season then. So a lot of times I'll handle that, transportation piece, because Cheryl works from home, so I have an office, but you have to get really efficient with your time. So you need to, okay, when you get an office hour, you better make use of it. You better get on the phone. You better try to set those meetings. You can't just, go and scroll Facebook all day. You better, and because if I do, it's going to show up, the 90-day rule from Jeb Blount. So,
Yes.
You got to make sure you put in that prospecting and have those meetings to have that business, 90 days, later.
And then being intentional with each other, because it was for probably like 23 and 24, maybe. Our vacations were work conferences.
Yes.
That's not a vacation.
No.
That's not quality time together. That's not anything. I mean, they're great. I love that I get to travel with my husband for work. That's not date night.
Mm-hmm.
So we start date night.
Yeah.
And we are intentional about our time and because you have to be. Like there's not enough space to waste. That running. I'm going to be like Dr. Seuss.
We'll make a Dr. Seuss book out of this one, by the way.
We should.
But, even earlier I saw, I know it's like joking, but also not, where it's like, hey, let's put the phone down, let's get dialed in. Because that's part of the process, I assume, as you guys are building this foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a foundation that when other people from the outside are looking in and then your kids are watching, God willing, it's a foundation that people start to take, because it is hard. My wife and I, this is something we've been working on right now, where it's like, we are planning vacations now. We're planning date nights. We're trying to connect on Sundays. That stuff is so important, because if not, then you're coming home and it's like, you're both tired, you're both exhausted. How's your day? Great. All right, great. All right, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's the conversation. You can't have that being the conversation, especially as you're trying to grow as a family as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you guys share that. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in understanding that dynamic, because it is not easy. But I do have a question for you guys. As you are continuing to build, as you are continuing to grow, what does the I don't want to say end goal, but what does the vision look like? Like, do you guys map out 2 years? Do you map out 5? Are you more of a year-to-year type of family? Is that the way it operates?
I would say he's a little bit longer. I'm a little bit 1 year at a time, just because of that growth ramp up stage. I don't want to speak for you, but
what's your aging coach? You understand that, you can plan on a lot, but ultimately it's your day-to-day activity. I know if I take care of my DSTs, head weight, long since that's just so.
Yeah.
So they still have the projection of, that's why I like this, and just with me, I'll have some ritual, plan out our week. We talk about kid stuff.
Grocery shopping. Lunches, dinner.
All those different things, week to week, and then for me on quarters. But it's just focusing what activities that you have. You have those that green time. So, and theme days. I mean, it's not rocket science, and everybody teaches, but it's actually, what are you going to do to them? Who do you need to call? And sticking with those time blocks and understanding there's a lot of family blocks that get in between. Okay, what's this appointment? And so it's, doctor appointments are in there too. So it's, our daughter has scoliosis, so we have to plan those as well. So it's staying focused on that mission and your activities in day-to-day.
I love that. That's a big deal. So we're getting ready to wrap this up now.
What's
in the sauce fudge list? How does it?
Not telling.
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
No, yeah, okay. No. So it's milk. So by the way, these are scallop potatoes, not gratin potatoes, like with cheese. Like there's no cheese, okay? Just potatoes. So it's just a milk base. So there's flour, little roots, salt, peppers, garlic, onions, a little parsley. And then it just thickens up real quick and nice. And we're going to put some oil on it. We're going to toss it in the oven.
And put it in there for roughly.
So we're going to put it in for an hour.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then, the best part about scallop potatoes is, of course, the crispy parts.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take the foil off and then pop it in another 10 minutes or so. And maybe I'll share.
Perfect.
So 60 minutes.
Awesome. As Rami stated, this is the making of the fudge. He's our director, our camera guy. We like to have fun doing these. Please keep that in the edit.
Where does that go?
So we're here making the fudge.
We are.
As we found out. What are the steps here for the fudge?
It's a very secret recipe. It's literally the one on the back of the Jaffa.
Okay.
I do nothing different. It's not on the back anymore, by the way. They took it off. You do have to kind of like find it online, but same thing. So, sugar, butter, evaporated milk. I mean, it's just melted sugar, right?
That's it.
I mean, that's what it is.
And then,
so we're going to heat that all up. We're going to let that go for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to dump this in, stir it up, dump it out.
okay. While you're doing that, I would like to know, and our audience would like to know, the power of networking. I talk to a lot of loan officers. I talk to a lot of processors. I talk to many people, obviously, in our space. And there's a lot of people that don't believe there's value in networking. I don't gain something out of it. I hear it all the time. And I always challenge, I always push back. How do you, first and foremost, decide what events you go to? And then what is your goal when you go into a networking event?
So the way that I decide how I go or where I go is based on that big ass calendar back there. But also where my network is going to be, right? So it's different than an Ella.
Yes.
It's a different space. I'm not going to open houses.
No.
I guess I could. Maybe there's a broker there or so, but I'm not going to open houses. I'm not going to realtors. I need to find brokers and loan officers. Those are my clients. That's my business. So I'm going where I know there's going to be an opportunity to speak with individuals, and not even speak with them, just engage.
Yes.
I don't, I was at TAG and I was getting I got a text as I was sitting in the audience, and they were like, "Hey, I saw you on Facebook. I'm here. I'm in the back of the room. Like, can I talk to you for just like 5 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, after the
Yes.
after the speaker, but yes. And then being visible is really all it is. It's just that simple. I don't do a lot with it.
Well, you also don't ask for business. Like, I've noticed that about you, right? Like, anytime I've talked to you, never one time have you ever mentioned it. It's more so just people gravitate towards what you're doing, and I've seen people do it, right? As like, hey, is there an opportunity? Where does that come from? Is it just your engagement with them? Is it the way that you carry yourself, you think? Like, where do you think, why does that shift towards you? Why is that the kind of energy you put out into the world?
I think because, why is it the energy? Well, one, I run the company a little bit differently, I think, than most third-party processing companies. I pay my staff all salary plus profile bonuses, but like they're not 1099 employees. They're family. And I know that's work family, you know what I mean? I get it, but I don't want to build an empire that doesn't align with me. So that's part of the reason when you ask about growth too. Like it has to go slowly for me because I need it to make sense. And then I think word of mouth is really everything, good or bad.
Yeah.
Good or bad. But I think people see me in the space and see me out there, and would you like laugh if I told you that I really don't like any of that, like doing that? Like that is not.
No, I would not. I would not at all.
Comfortable for me at all.
I would believe you.
Yeah,
I really would.
I would like to be in the room, like just hiding. But I do enjoy it once I'm doing it.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that comes from and that speaking piece too. When I was really moving up with government, I had to go to commission meetings, and I had to sit as the finance director and explain why we didn't make this money or why we didn't have this budget. And I had to speak to those elected officials, and I had to be accountable to those folks. And so if I can get my ass chewed on the dais about something there, I can get my ass chewed by an LO. It's fine.
You can handle it. Yeah, that's the other thing too, especially in our space, is the ability to handle like rejection, the ability to handle no. That's always people's fear. As much as they tell me it's not, I'm like, you're not being truthful about
hard.
it. So learning to deal with that at early stages definitely helps, and that was a benefit I feel like for me. I think another area too that people are interested in as well, between the two of you, social media is big for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't always see it as much on the processing side, right? Not necessarily. You see more and more.
Right.
That's been a focus for you, though, for some time. We go through your social media. We see it. You pop up consistently.
You know why?
Okay. So now these are the conversations, right? So what was that conversation like of, hey, it's time to start posting. What are we going to do?
He would send me emails from other third-party processing companies that were reaching out to him. Do you need a third-party processor? I'm like, screw them.
Did I'm wearing shoes. That I have to offer. Shut up. I love that, man.
And so he's like, you got to get out there. You have to do this. I'm like, I don't want to. You have to do this. And so, and we went forward and and we did a few things and I'm like, okay. And then the big step was the Cabo trip, because he even said, he was like, well, what are you doing when you go there? What are you going to do? I'm like, I'm not going to learn about content. Like, we're going to make the content.
Yeah.
I don't need to learn about it. I'll farm that out. But we're going to make the content. And he's like, oh, all right. As long as you come back with some content, then that's fine.
That's worth it. No, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because is it aligned with what you're trying to do, with what you're trying to build, with what you're trying to grow? So here, I will say this. I've talked to more processors than I could imagine. And here's another topic that I always explain to them. Here's the benefit of it. But sometimes they'll say to me, hey, when I go to these events or I get on certain calls, it feels like it's more so for the LO, right? And not the processor. What do you say to that? Because yes, there are certain times where it might be more specific to the LO, but I'm a believer in, hey, if you can understand what the LO is doing and you know what they're going through every day, that actually makes it easier for you to communicate. So yes, they might not be talking about processors, but you're learning how an LO's brain works. What's your take on that conversation?
Oh, absolutely. Because I always call myself, well, and we probably all are in this industry to each other, unpaid therapists. And it's true. I need to know what your pain point is so that I know where I've got to fill in that gap. And if I don't know, then I can't help. And we really are collaborative with all of the clients that we work with because it's a team. If I'm not on the same page as the LO, if we don't have the same strategy, if we don't know what the approach is going to be, how it's getting structured, all of those things and what the stressors are, it's not going to work, or it's not going to work well.
No.
You can kick a can down, you can kick it down the field, but it's not going to work well. So I enjoy those conversations. I like hearing about it. It's fun for me.
So LOs, this one's for you, okay? Because we do this, and I hate it. Team, I hate this so much. So here's what we do as LOs. Are you ready? You talk to a client for the first time. You say to the client, okay, I'm your go-to person. I'll answer calls late. I'm the guy or gal for you. I'm the best of the best. You talk yourself up, which, by the way, keep doing it. That's exactly what you should be doing, letting the client know. And then what happens is sometimes a transaction gets into process, and sometimes things go south. And it is what it is. It just happens. It's real estate, Murphy's Law. It just is what it is in our industry. And then when something goes wrong, here's what I hear loan officers do all the time, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's unacceptable. You just told a client you're the best thing that ever happened since sliced bread. Then something goes wrong and you say, well, the processor should have, the underwriter should have. It's the lender's fault. But you told the client up front that you're the go-to person. So now your messaging is no longer congruent and we're blaming somebody else. So you just talked about feedback. And I know that pops up. But initially the LOs have that alligator brain where they want to attack and blame everybody else but themselves because it's emotional and they're the ones getting yelled at. So I get it. How do you start with those conversations? How do you jump into that and go, hey, we're going to have to reset expectations because we're not going to work this way?
Well, one is setting the expectation
yes.
first. So there's that piece, which has been a learning curve for me too, I will tell you.
Been on, but a lot of our conversations too about the loan officer's psychographic analysis, I guess.
100%.
What their mindset is. And she's like, why is he saying this? Like, well, here's what I say as an LO. And then it helps translate that. I tell her, get on more than the right way, set the right expectations. To understand, they don't seem to understand for her, she has multiple brokers and she has all those hundreds of loans in process to a LO, the one or two files. That's all there is.
No, don't say that though. Don't say that. Because every file is important to me. Don't say that.
Every file is important.
Every file is important. Every file is not a fire.
Yes.
Okay. Every file is important. Every file is not a fire. And that is challenging because when it becomes a fire and all the alarms are going off, I will do everything I can to help you. I'm also going to eat at some point during the day.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I may not answer the phone for a second. The world will not stop. It will be okay.
What's your recommendation to other processors out there that, okay, you have the opportunity to where you have somebody that's originating every day. So it's like, okay, they'll help give you a different approach. So unfortunately, it's like you have to kind of let go of your ego because now it's like, all right, Let's just get in front of this person. Let's bring their guard down and take it from there. But what advice do you have for somebody out there processing wise that might not have that background on how they can manage and set expectations for loan officers?
I think one, know what your strengths are and know what your pain points are. I mean, and be upfront, right? I have the luxury and ability to, for the most part, like, I work very early in the morning because that's a lot of my focus time. So I'll work from 4 to 2, and then the kids come home and it's homework time. So and then I'm back at it late at night if I need to be. But know what your limits are, and then make sure that those are set. And don't be scared to have that conversation of saying, like, no, this is inappropriate for you to be blowing up my phone on a Saturday.
Wow.
Like, I know that you're scared about the file going sideways. I'm scared too. But there ain't shit we can do on Saturday. There really isn't.
Nothing.
Is the lender answering the phone? Is underwriting working? What can I do on Saturday that I can't do on Monday?
And Cheryl, I have one more question for you. That's I think it's a common ground question. Third-party processing, paid commission, which means are you paid if the loan doesn't close?
No.
No. So our common ground, y'all, our common ground is nobody gets paid if the loan doesn't close. We're on the same team. So please make sure you're not one of those. And by the way, I was one of them. I'm type A. We're all type A. No one can do this as good as me. I'm the reason these loans close. Me too, y'all. It's okay. It happens. However, the reality is you need help, especially if you're trying to scale and you're trying to grow. But you have to also be willing to have the conversation, set expectations, and deliver feedback and be open to feedback. That is the only way you're going to take your business to the next level. And for brokers out there, we were doing in-house processing, third-party, we're doing all over the place. Think about your business model and how you want to scale. The benefit of third-party processing is hard to explain, but it gives you such a competitive edge that if you're not leveraging it, you need to look into it. And if you're somebody that says, I don't need a processor, please reevaluate that conversation, because if you're trying to make this a career at scale, you need somebody to help you. I can promise you that all the top producers have help. So make sure you're paying attention to it.
Well, and to piggyback off of that, I will tell you, that's the nice part about a third-party processor is I work with all the lenders.
Yes.
So when you call me and say, like, hey, can we get this loan closed here?
Ooh.
I don't think it's going to fly there. Maybe we go here. Maybe we do, or what do you think about this? How has XYZ lender been lately? What are you seeing? Because I see it all day long. My team sees it all day long. So you have direct access to a team that is working with every lender on every product, in every system, in every platform that you could just tap into.
Hey, lenders, watch your P's and Q's is what she's saying right now. All right. Very important. But look, even that's a big piece of it, where you have somebody as an additional earpiece for you, where, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Hey, we've sent an X amount of loans over the last, year to date. Here's the average turn times. Here's what's going on. That's how you build a relationship. That's how you build a partnership. So when you say, what's the value? That's one of 20 other reasons that there's value with working with somebody like that. So where are we at in the fudge process?
I mean, yeah. So I also had to buy a new oven recently, or stove and stuff. So one, you always have a favorite burner, right?
Yes.
So this is the favorite burner. So I've got to get it boiling. You see how it's starting there? Yep. So it's got to get to a rolling boil. Because here's the trick with fudge. Rolling boil.
No, not too long. Yes, it is.
So the problem with fudge is if you don't let the sugar set long enough, then it's runny. And if you seize the sugar, then it's gritty. So you kind of have to... I mean, people use a candy thermometer, I guess. I just know when it's ready.
That's a skill.
Well, I'll set the timer.
Earlier.
I'll set the timer in just a second, but we're almost there. So what'll happen is this will start bubbling up. We'll let it, and you just have to keep it alive. This is the thing. Like when you make fudge, you're stuck here forever until it's done. And then we'll just dump those pieces in and it'll be done.
All right, so I don't know the inside joke between your mom and this situation here, but I do know that it looks like this is something that you can screw up if you don't know what you're doing.
And hurt yourself. It's very hot, like you're boiling sugar and, scary. That's actually why I have to have Emmett help me at the end. You'll see our teamwork. I have made it by myself, but this, of course, is my favorite fudge pan.
Okay.
But the handles are not like heat proof. So when I go to pour, you have to pour from both sides, but I have to scoop out. And so I'm like, Emmett, help.
It's a team process.
It's time to pour. So yeah, once it starts to get a full boil, then we'll let it go 4 minutes. That'll be good.
Back from our little break, everyone went back to work a little bit because we are busy around here and we got to be efficient with our time. However, our food is done. We are ready for the potatoes and the ham and the sauce plus the fudge. We're about to take it out of the oven and we cannot wait for you to see it. And I can't wait to try it. I am starved. Yes. Wow. Look at that. Look at that.
The crispy parts are what you want, I promise.
All right, here we go. We're ready for the pièce de résistance, as they say in France. I think, is that French?
Yes.
All right, perfect. I know it in Arabic. I didn't know it in French. However, now, what are you laughing at? We are about to try with something that looks magnificent. Here we go.
All right. Do you trust me that the crispy parts are the best?
Yes.
Okay.
No questions asked.
All right. I got to turn it because you know I'm left-handed then.
Oh, turn it. Here, you use to grab.
No.
Look at her.
Efficient.
All right. Get you one little square. Oh, I see. Look at it. You need more on your plate there. That's not going to work because that just looks sad.
Yeah. Oh man, don't do that. I know you saw it. Don't do that.
What do you do?
I started.
Are you taking it or am I giving it to you? No, that's easy. You got the crusty pieces.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you crusty pieces too, birthday boy.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I don't want to wait, but I'm going to wait. This is called self-control. There you go. And I'm not good at it.
I'm just going to scrape your stuff in.
There you go.
All right. Am I eating too?
Yeah. Unless you don't want any.
No, I'm not eating. But here's what'll happen. If I'm mad at myself about how I can't, don't get a shot of me. Because I'll be like, more salt.
Salt. Or salt.
I thought you almost did. I didn't know. No, I didn't. Nah. You didn't see anything.
So nothing. And Remy gets a plate after. Is that what happens?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that. Thank you very much.
Shall we? Cheers. Cheers. You're gonna love this on me. It's finally a meal. That's what we've been asking for this whole trip.
Traveling.
It's just been airport food and Starbucks and
Look at that.
thank God.